father's father had two brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his two brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Welcome to Sim TV and the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. Welcome to Barber Motorsports Park. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney Daguna tonight for the next round of the 2020 Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. This is a 15-turn, 2.438 mile road circuit here in Alabama, Finney, and we're about to embark on an extraordinary, interesting race tonight because we have a new change to the Dallara IR18 Indy car beginning tonight. The aero screen on the nose of these cars, Finney, are going to be a fun change, a good-looking change. I think aesthetically, it's been pretty divisive to say the least, but I'm really excited to get this race underway tonight. Should be a nice, quick one tonight. We've got a full field of race cars qualifying here from Barber.
Yeah, and currently got Adam Blocker on the top of the timesheets, where he usually is for the most part. We got Frank Levick in second, Brian Carey in third, as guys are still putting down some times. In fact, Andreas Heck just jumped up into third place. As drivers continuing on the track, we have almost 40 guys in the server yet again this week. A lot of drivers joining in, trying to get into the show.
And again, there's that brand new aero screen we talked about. This is a driver safety improvement. We're going to ride on board the gyro cam here on Chad Simpson's machine. This is all for driver safety. This halo device around the driver's head to keep them safe, and a windscreen to keep debris out of the cockpit. Again, a very divisive change in terms of the visuals of it, but certainly for driver safety in the real world, it's been a big improvement. And aesthetically, for some drivers, especially for Chad Simpson, running one of the Spark VR cars on his vehicle tonight, I think it's aesthetically a good-looking change as well. So we just mentioned how Spark VR is sponsoring tonight's event, and you're going to see their logos scrolling along the bottom of the screen. Finney, and 5 minutes left in qualifying, and it's going to be incredibly important tonight to qualify towards the front. Why?
Yeah, I think because it's going to be really hard to pass. Barber not really known as a great place for really the passing that goes on the track. Definitely a driver's track, definitely very demanding. A lot of high downforce corners, especially the section we're going through here with Chad Simpson. Now at Joe Branch in the 28, Coca-Cola sponsoring that car.
Here's on top of the roll bar as we head down into the corkscrew. You see the Spark VR logos on the bottom left, and we were kind of joking earlier, Finney, about how Spark VR, even without sponsoring the race, typically gets quite a bit of press with other drivers at the front of the oval races. But tonight, going to be a different kind of format because we have a couple new drivers that we should take note of. One of them being Zach Campbell in the 144. He's making his return to Indy Elite Series action after some really impressive performances last season. And he rides in second place right now. His best lap, a 105.638, his number 144.
Yeah, enjoying the broken arrow, Cam. Well, livery on the side of that car, currently on pole as he beats Adam Blocker by 66 thousandths of a second.
Wow. He won, he goes.
Yeah, and should be able to hold that at least from Blocker. Blocker not going to be setting another time. And looking at Joshua Chin in the 93, he rockets past the line and he's going to start his timed lap.
So let's ride on board with him for a little bit here and get an idea of what Barber Motorsports Park is like. We'll go over a track map here shortly, but this is an incredibly technical racetrack, and it's also a very high downforce, so passing is difficult. But look at all the rubber that's accumulated on the racetrack, Finney, and going wide tonight is going to be incredibly dangerous with all the marbles that will accumulate outside the driving line. To the braking zone, down the hill into the corkscrew, take all the curb you can. Then throttle up for the S's, a left-right combination. At this point, you're going to try to stay off those curbs because they are certainly going to throw your car for a loop if you get up on them too much.
And you can hear not even lifting off the throttle, a little bit full speed through there, and then also hard pushing through this section of the track, this last sector very hard. And you can see exactly why there. Gets the tail end happy here. I think got a bit of grass. Not sure if that's going to count the lap or not. We'll see. On board the 93s, he works through the second last quarter and now through the final section of track.
Yeah, I think he actually kept it on course, so this should count as he comes across the line of 106.359. That's not going to be good enough for him. He'll go for a second lap, flying through turn number 1 at full tilt.
Oh, 6th place.
He's 6th. Oh, there he goes. He's going to lose it at the very end there and back it into the fence. A couple other drivers that we're going to have to take note of. Flynn Lazier is here tonight. We're going to have a full grid of 34 cars this evening. Another one of those Spark VR drivers. I love this new livery they have on these cars, Finn. It is a very attractive look. And if you're interested in Spark VR, they're basically a virtual reality arcade, Finn. And how cool of an idea is that? And what better place to go right now in a situation where you're stuck. And the games have been kind of everyone's crutch the past couple weeks.
Yep.
And especially when the quarantine situation is over, make sure you check out Spark VR.
Yeah, and looking at Flynn Lazier, looks like he's also got different colors too. He changes his colors. Usually he's in
orange,
and
now he's in black this week, or gray. Christian Steele making an appearance in the number 50. Not a driver that we're familiar with seeing, but he's got wow, that is a very blue car, very shiny blue car. As he pulls out on the racetrack. Steele from California, and currently 9th on the board. So Zach Campbell still holds the top spot. John Downing holds 21st. He's one of the other drivers still kind of sitting in the pit stall. Jason Brophy out on track right now in his UPS livery. That's a great looking car too. I'm so happy with how good these cars look with this aero screen as Brophy completes another qualifying lap.
Looks like he's revamped that scheme too, and not surprisingly, a lot of the guys had to change their paint schemes up a little bit after the template change with the aero screen. Brophy currently sitting in 22nd.
All right, so with about a minute and 50 seconds left before we get gridded here, let's take a look at the track guide for tonight's event here, Finney. And so the track map for Barber Motorsports Park, it's a 2.38 mile circuit. Let's have a look. Thanks to Redenzo for coming on board, sponsoring the SimTV broadcast through the month of July. Here's a look at Barber Motorsports Park, Finney. Lots of elevation change, lots of high speeds. Turn number 1, a high downforce downhill left-hander into the carousel, a right-hander that brings you down to the bottom of a hill before you head for turns 3 and 4 up to a crest.
Yeah, and then really we got to watch out for that crest, especially on cold tires in the opening laps. And then you had a little bit downhill into turn 5. That hairpin's definitely going to catch some guys out. It's going to also be a great passing opportunity for all these drivers. Then heading down through turn 6. And then down towards turn 7 and 8 in this corkscrew session, definitely also going to catch out a lot of drivers. I would be surprised if we don't see a wreck on the opening lap.
Then out of the corkscrew, you're going to head up to 9 and 10, the left and right. That is called the S's. That's high speed, full throttle through there, down into 11 and 12. You're going to drop off the face of the earth into turn 11 before you put all the load on that left front tire through 12, 13, and 14. And you got 2 more corners after that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and really heading through 14, you are almost always going to miss your apex through that corner, but you're going to definitely try your best to find it. Then through turn 15. 15, and then that'll complete a lap at Barber Motorsports Park.
Head back live to the racetrack here. Just 34 seconds left in qualifying. Starting grid right now rolling across the top of your screen. Again, thanks to Spartan VR for sponsoring tonight's event as we conclude qualifying here. And at the top of the board, it will be Zach Campbell. Another driver, Eric O'Connor, sitting fourth. That's a really impressive effort. He sits inside the top 5. Christian Steele just went 6th quick. And Riley Thompson, no longer a TDR team member, but sits P7 with a 106.223.
Yeah, and just kind of looking on through, and actually let's scroll down below to see which drivers didn't make it into the show. Any names that we recognize? Dakota Giacienzo looks like he's going to be in 37, not going to make it. Cohen Evans in the going to be 36. He's not going to make it in noon. And I think Tony Schowen, he barely made it in 34th.
So 34 drivers on the grid because Flynn Lazier is here, and we'll take that provisional spot as we head down to the racetrack for the gridding process. And look at all the rubber that's accumulated in the corners here, Finney, and I'm just having a look at some of these. Look at how much rubber's been laid down. How much of an issue is this going to be tonight if you get offline?
Very much so, especially in turns like the carousel, though. There's almost rubber throughout the entire width of that corner, so you're going to have a lot of wiggle room with that.
There's Eric O'Connor, and that's another good-looking car. I think I almost want to say his teammates with the other new driver that we saw, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're I was thinking his teammates with the 50, but that doesn't look to be the situation. So here is a look at our weather information for today's race. 75 degrees ambient temp just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. 88 degrees on the track surface. That's relatively cool. So the rubber will be grippy and not necessarily slick like we would fear on a hot day here in Alabama. Let's also have a look at our rundown through the grid. It's going to scroll on the bottom of your screen as we get ready for tonight's event. We mentioned Blocker on the outside of that front row from the Carolinas. Henry Bennett, Blocker's teammate, starting in 3rd. Eric O'Connor, new name in the series, rolls off 4th.
And we come back and we find Phil Kraus in 5th, Christian Steele in 6th, and then we have Riley Thompson in 7th in the 58, and Joshua Chin in 93 in 8th.
A little bit surprised at Joshua Chin's qualifying effort. I thought he'd be a little bit better than that, but he'll start P6 tonight, or P8 rather, as he'll roll off from the 4th row. There's Andreas Eich in the 12th spot. Simon Bryant here as well. Ray Kingsbury, one of those Spartan VR cars, will roll off 13th alongside his teammate. Good qualifying effort for Lazier, 14th place.
Yeah, no, I think definitely the Spartan VR guys too. You know, they're gonna definitely try to have to improve from last week's performance or last race performance at Kentucky. It wasn't really a great and particularly great race for them, but they have a chance tonight to fix that.
Andrew Kinsella was starting down pretty deep as well, so he'll have some ground to make up. Chad Simpson, Jason Brophy. The rest of the field scrolls on through. It is a full field of race cars with the IndyCar, the brand new Aero screen that was just put on Thursday of this week as the field rolls off for a formation lap. It'll be a 43-lap event. About 47 minutes of racing, one of the shortest races that we've seen in a while. There's the 25 at Kingsbury, pulling off to the side of the racetrack. Maybe some trouble here early for one of the Spartan VR team.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's serving an EOL potentially from post-race.
I should have that information at my disposal, so I'm going to go try to find the EOLs.
So I would imagine that was him. I didn't see anyone else pull off the track, or it looks like they're dropping back through the field, so it might have been just him, as far as at least the drivers that qualified in to the show tonight.
So we're going to head down to the hairpin now, and we mentioned the full field, Finney, 43 laps of racing. The challenges of passing. Walk me through where to pass at this racetrack, because it's difficult. It's high downforce. These are fast race cars. What's the best place?
I think really this corner is going to be the best place. You're going to be able to make that pass. Heavy braking zones are obviously the best to do it, and that's the thing. There's not a whole lot of those. I mean, you could argue turn 7's another heavy braking zone's another pretty much a hairpin on the other side of the track, but the problem with that corner is that it's so one line. If we can get a look at the corkscrew, you know, everyone's going to be pretty much straight riding over that curb. It's going to be very hard to get alongside another driver, but if you're brave enough, you can.
You know who else has an EOL is Joshua Chin. So that 93 you have to start towards the tail of the field, and he's so good at the road course events. That's certainly going to be a detriment to him today. And you mentioned one line, that curb on the driver's left as they head down the hill into turn 7, that's going to get a lot of abuse. The one on the right, maybe not so much.
Yeah, you definitely want to stay away from the right side curb.
And up through the S's, you want to avoid these curbs with all of your being, because those are really, really rough on your suspension. These cars are sprung so stiffly, it'll send you for a ride.
Yeah, you can ride a little bit, and you can see there is some rubber bit on the inside. You can ride a bit of the tire on it. You don't want to completely go over it, because it'll just ruin your suspension and just send you offline. That's another thing you have to be careful for.
We mentioned the 144 making his return. He's always a dangerous driver to have at the front of the field during a road course event. And this is going to be pretty fast from the get-go. We always have the opportunity for a full course yellow. I highly doubt we'll get one. So as the field rolls through, turn 13 and 14 set us up for turn 15. We'll be coming to the green here for a 43-lap event, the Spartan VR Grand Prix of Alabama. And Zach Campbell is in command of the field, and immediately green flag. Oh, no trouble already, and Adam Blocker spins.
Wow.
Crash already as they exit the final corner. Trouble as they get to the green flag.
Oh, and the
More
wrecking
crashing.
at the start-finish line, and a massive wreck on the front
And a
straightaway.
disastrous race start right in
Oh,
front
man.
of everybody.
Oh, watch it. Oh, they're still
More
crashing.
trouble. And a disastrous race start here.
Wow, and
at
that
Barber Motorsports
And we
Park.
lost about 5 or 6 cars before we
Caution.
even got to the green flag, and a caution gonna fly here. Not surprising at all.
I was just about to say, because I had just mentioned how, we always have the possibility for a safety car, and we've never actually gotten one in this series at a road course. So what a wild way to start this off. Joe Flanagan was involved in the number 53, Tony Showen in the 31, as the caution flies here early in the going. What a mess at the start of this race.
That's really the best way to describe it.
Well, I have to go back, and I think it was Adam Blocker was the first car that we saw have trouble. And we're gonna have to look at this from a bunch of different angles, because I'm not sure if he got hit or if he just spun out.
He just spun out, I think, because remember, these guys are starting to accelerate here. Tire is still very cold. Was just trying to get speed through that corner, and just the back end came around. Not enough grip in the tires.
And then we'll just watch it from this angle. It's probably the best one to show. And then another Spartan VR car. That's the black one. We were just talking about him. Flynn Lazier got turned around, and then that's just so many cars got crashed in.
Yeah, there's a
Great
black and
Kingsbury.
white car that was kind of slow down the front straightaway, and that caused that second wreck. I'm not sure if it was Flynn Lazier or not.
Yeah, I think Lazier was actually pointed around backwards.
It was that car that's already slowing behind him. I have no idea who that is. The one coming in across the screen on the right.
We'll go back and take a look. Then Lazier trying to get turned around backwards. And
Oh, it was that. I think it was O'Connor. I think it's Eric O'Connor in the 74.
oh yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, so he's going to come back onto the track here. Everything's fine, and then as he comes here, they're going to see that Sadie car
Yep.
move out and clip the other driver that was from Lazier that he turned around, and then that caused that second incident on the front
That was
straightaway.
Simon Bryant, I think, that was the Sadie car that was involved here.
Yeah, he just took evasive action. And unfortunately, there was no room because everyone was so close together on the start.
Wow, what a mess. I think there's Marshall Stanley in there as well, but safety car and a huge mess of a start for the start of the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. And with that's a wild way to start this one, Fitty. We've never seen a full course caution at a road course in Indy Elite Racing, but here we have it. So we'll try this again. But that last corner, cold tires, and we mentioned the weather, Finian. Is that playing into it? Track surface, 87 degrees, not warm. Is that maybe potentially being a problem?
Yeah, I mean, it's not warm. It's pretty all right temps. I mean, more or less where you would expect. But yeah, I think it's just, cold tires. You have to get these things warmed up. It takes a lap or two to really get these cars up to more or less the tires to their operating temperature, where they'll be at for most of the race. And I think, especially when you demand so much out of the car, the last corner, very high downforce, and when you're trying to accelerate too, is just going to make it a lot worse. Joshua Chin, he rolled through out of the pit lane, so he was able to avoid that tire mess.
Again, that was probably a really smart idea. And then you think about Adam Blocker, the points implications that this is going to have on the championship. He was already way, way back. This is going to be basically a crucial blow to the championship.
Joshua Chin got marked the lap down. I think this is a glitch. With iRacing, he got marked the lap down even though he came in from the pits. I had the same thing happen to me in a retro race at a Canadian Tire. I started from the pits because I had trouble on the ground. I think I stalled the car and I was trying to get back going and the car went on. So I was like, all right, I'll just start from the pits. Came out and got put a lap down.
Yeah, so we're going to probably spend a couple laps getting this sorted back out here.
A lot of drivers already coming down a pit road.
Yeah, so the drivers that are listed out, we should mention this, the drivers that are listed off the racetrack right now: Marshall Stanley, Joe Flanagan, Tony Showen, Adam Blocker, Eric O'Connor, Simon Bryant, Dakota DiCienzo, Caleb Weekly, Cohen Evans, Dan Ensch, and Aaron Roof. Some of those drivers didn't start the race, just telling you who's not on the racetrack.
Yeah, it was really Simon Bryant, Eric O'Connor, Blocker, Showen, Flanagan, and Stanley are all the drivers that are listed as retired. from the incident. So it's going to leave us with 28 still rolling on the track, at least for now. You guys that came down to the pit lane as we were going to get the 1 to green here and get ready to go back racing next time by.
So, and I guess everyone's kind of learned their lesson here to be really soft and gentle. And how much of this, I mean, obviously, you know, the tire warming situation, as far as I know, the IndyCar is still not on the V7 tire model. So how do you need to warm up your tires? Is this a concern?
I mean, you need to get some heat in them when you start, you know, it's not necessarily on the new tire model, but things not starting from their operating temperature, at least we've seen. The funny thing too is, speaking of Blocker, in race, I think, interview or something, he said, I saw this in the Lionheart Discord, someone was saying that he mentioned that the IndyCar was on the new tire model or something.
Maybe it is. Maybe, again, I
don't think it was.
They stopped recording what tire model everything's on, so it's very confusing now to know, which is, it's a crucial thing to know at this point. But either way, clearly not enough heat in the tires for the one of Adam Blocker that kind of triggered that whole thing, and just like that, that's any chance that he had at climbing his way up through the championship is now pretty much gone. Again, we only have a couple races left. I mean, we only have Long Beach COTA and the Indy 500 left on the schedule, so there's only 3 races left after this one for things to come back together.
Yeah, he's already missed 2 races as well, so, you know. And the thing with that is that there are 2 drop events, because obviously every driver can't make every single round. So to account for that, you get to drop your lowest 2 races if you start all of them, or if not, you're going to miss 2 races. And for Blocker, he's already missed 2 races, and so he needed every single point he can get. Now he's starting to put himself more at a disadvantage, so it's going to be tough for him to bounce back from this. We'll have to see. If he can, it's going to be very tough to do. But Philip Kraus, where is he running?
Philip Kraus is currently scored in P14 as the field rolls through turns 14 and 15. Immediately, the green flag back in the air for Zach Campbell, launching as soon as he can. The pace car off, the green flag waving again from Barber Motorsports Park. This time, a little bit cleaner as everyone's got some space to work with. And I think now we'll make it down to turn 2 without any trouble. And Campbell's already got a 10-car length lead over Christian Steele as they work through the carousel.
Yeah, really, the leader really able to take advantage from starting early through that complex, final complex of corners. Already building that gap up. We got a car around us. The 29 of Clark Archer in turn 2.
Yeah, Clark Archer going to go around in the carousel again. Tires maybe still not up to 10 for him. Here's Andrew Wood in the 32 car. He started his night in 28th. He's gained about half those spots up to P13. His climb continues. Also, Christian Steele in the 50 car, 6th to 2nd, so he took advantage of that caution and has now put himself in a chance to, or in a spot to chase down Zach Campbell, who worked with the S's.
Even Jerry's like too, right? Behind and Riley Thompson, 3rd and 4th. Those guys running really well at the moment. You see the field work.
Oh, trouble background. There's Jason Brophy.
I think Chin. Joshua Chin involved as well.
Yeah, might be Chris Cahill, actually. Yes, it is. The Diet Coke car, the 57. Maybe Chin was involved, but I don't see his car around.
He was the other car on the grass here.
Oh, I see. Okay, so down into the... Oh, yeah, they just got together, hooked, and spun off into the gravel.
Chin took the least amount of damage out of that, it would seem.
Yeah, Caho's actually taking a reset, so it looks like he's going to be out of this one early. The Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. Campbell leads by 1.4 seconds. 3rd place is Riley Thompson, 7th of P3, and again, new team for this driver. And great looking orange, yellow, and white paint scheme, and sitting on the podium already. We know how good he is at road courses. We saw him win in the Fuel IndyCar Series at Montreal last season, so he's capable of winning.
He'll already spread out a decent amount in some sections, except here Andrew Wood fighting with Bradley Walters. Walters trying to get the spot from Wood.
Oh, bit of an offline car. That's on the 777 car. And Henry Bennett started up on the 2nd row, and he was one of the drivers that spun in the front on the initial start, back up to 16th, and he's going to swing. That's Charles Ante in the 26th. It's going to give him a spot behind him, a little bit of duking and diving. That is Ray Kingsbury and Adam Crane. Crane working with, I think he's got a spec map on this car.
Yeah, no, that car looks beautiful.
It certainly does. Behind him, Clark Archer and Joshua Chin. And Chin is going to be probably one of our biggest movers tonight because we know how good he is at road racing, and obviously a little bit of a scoring issue put him a lap down early, but he's now up to 21st place. He would have started 8th, and imagine if he had started there, he would have been in the crash. So this is a blessing in disguise for him.
Yeah, and the thing is, the only problem is if you look at the in front of that car, he's got damage to that wing. So he's going to have to try to deal with that and hope that it doesn't get worse and can manage that until his first pit stop where he can finally replace it.
Charles Ante on the inside of the 777 as they head down into turn 14. Or actually, this is the corkscrew here. And up the road a little bit. How about Brian Carey in the 79? Think back to last week at Kentucky. Was about to go a lap down, had his teammate back off and saved him. And he ended up finishing really well up inside the top 10. So that was a good result for him. There's Frank Levick in the 777. Running the orange colors on this car as he goes out for a look. Talking about push to pass, Finian, how much of a strategy issue is that going to be tonight, and will we see it really play into factor?
Yeah, I don't think we will with these drivers trying to get a one up each other, especially probably we'll see it used down here in the run down to the hairpin. Give each other just a little bit more boost. You see Levick hard on the binders to the inside of Carey, and we'll get the spot.
Here comes Andrew Kinsella in the number 14. He started a little bit deeper in the field, back in 20th spot. He's up to 7th, so he's having a good run so far. And now closing in on 6th and 5th right in front of him. I wonder how much of Joshua Chin's damage is maybe from those curbs heading into the...
No, he got that damage from when he collided with...
from the 57 car.
Yes.
Of Chris Cahill, who has taken his car behind the wall. He is done for the day. Up in front, Zach Campbell is just checking out Finian. It's a 3-second lead as he comes across the start-finish line to complete lap number 7. And Christian Steele is just not able to keep pace. Riley Thompson either. And Campbell just ran at 106.7, and that's about the quickest lap we've seen so far.
Interesting thing, though, is that Steele and Thompson went faster than Zach Campbell. Oh, actually, no, sorry, they didn't.
Yep. Yeah, Campbell's the quickest car on the racetrack right now by a fairly significant margin. Here's Matt Kingsbury in the 21. And behind him, you see Ray Kingsbury popping out of line on Adam Crane. Kingsbury started at 18th. And he's one of the few drivers that hasn't really gone up or down yet. He's just holding station in P18.
He's trying to work past the guy, a couple guys ahead of him, Adam Crane, Charles Ante and Bradley Walters ahead of him, 17th and 16th place. Whoa!
A little bit of a slide and a correction as they exit the hairpin and throttle back up for turn 7.
Yeah, did a great job correcting the car too. You saw the back end also came out under him as well. Here comes Adam Crane now having a look, heading towards turn 7, side by side. That's not going to work.
Oh, they get turned. There goes the 6th. In more trouble. Charles Ante sideways and a big crash into 21's on his lid. And tumbles back on his wheels, but a big crash down at the bottom of the hill. And Ante's going to get that car rolled back around.
That was probably the worst place for the 26 to spin out.
They're already crashing, and he actually ran into the back of one of the safety cars. Wow. Just bad timing. Joshua Chin sneaking through there.
And for Crane, he got out of there with pretty little damage.
Here's another look. He just drove in there too hot, got into the back of that. This 56 of Bradley Walters, and the 6 was already getting rear-ended in the process of getting rear-ended, and Kingsbury comes in here and just absolutely broadsides Charles Ante in the 26, and Joshua Chin going to slip right up the middle. I've added to that wing damage just a little bit. Certainly been an attrition-filled race so far, Barber. Yeah. I don't think I was expecting that.
No, I wasn't either. I was a bit surprised by that, but it's definitely turning out to be that way. With only 22 guys running on the, or 23 cars running on the racetrack.
Yeah, we started with 34.
Yeah, so we were barely even 10 laps into this race, so a lot of attrition, but that's going to mean a lot of guys can pick up some valuable points here.
Again, the caution on the opening lap due to the starting mishap, starting with Adam Blocker that turned around in front of the field. That's really what put us in this position that took out the majority of those cars, and since then we've been green since about lap number 4. And check up on second place. Christian Steele holds second, but Riley Thompson a little bit slower last time by, but I think he's been trending closer to that number 50.
Yeah, I think right now he's struggling with the aero wash off the car ahead of him. There's a lot of it.
And even more so because of the addition of the aero screen. It's pushing air up around. And it's going to also be affecting these road course wings. Again, the aero kit wasn't really changed on the cars other than the addition of the aero screen. So that's going to be pushing a lot of air around and over the top of the wing and affecting downforce levels as well. So a lot of these drivers had to very quickly build setups for this car in only about 3 days, which is a pretty tall task, especially now with the car really getting harder to drive. and also weighing more and having more forward balance. There's Gabriel Perez in the number 8 car, started back in 32nd. He's one of our biggest movers so far.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It might not seem like a big change at all. They added, they added a windscreen to the car, but considering how light these cars are, it's very easy to affect the dynamics of them, especially when you put something that's blocking a lot of air. And that's I think the big thing too. That's what I was noticing in. I run in a different series, and I kind of noticed that the rear end seemed to be a little bit more tail happy than usual. But I wasn't entirely able to nail down if it was the addition of the aero screen that caused that, but that's just kind of my 2 cents in the mix.
There's Henry Bennett in the 007 chasing Chad Simpson in the 42, a driver that started back in 21st position and managed to sneak his way through all the chaos at the initial start. And Bennett closing in, might have a look.
Great run, and gonna pull out, make a big dive onto the brakes to the inside for 11th place. He's gonna get the spot.
He'll have the spot. And Gabriel Perez closing in on the 42 car as well and bringing Austin Espidi in the 777. Espidi? We've gone over this 100 times and I never get it right.
I'm pretty sure Espidi is the...
We'll get corrected later, but I feel bad because I should know this by now, but...
I could honestly swear that Espidi was the correction that we got.
Here he comes to the inside of Gabriel Perez, 777. He'll take the spot. What a gutsy move down into...
Yeah, that's a difficult place to make the pass on. He's kind of helped out by the fact that Perez yielded that spot to him, and Speedy gonna immediately have a look at Chad Simpson in the second to last corner and gonna get the spot from him.
That was turn number 12 that he made the pass down into, which is always a gutsy move, and Chad Simpson wants to go on back by, but maybe use a push to pass here, but thinks better of it, sits in line. Oh, wow, Perez closes right up to the rear wing and have a look underneath in the carousel.
This is where you want to, push the pass button, get that extra horsepower. I think indeed Perez did hit the button.
And he will go through to 13th place. Here's Joshua Chin closing on Andrew Wood.
This is pretty impressive, the fact that he has a pretty decent amount of damage to that right side wing. Still catching the guys up ahead of him.
Whoa, a bit of an off-track excursion for the 32. Got in the dirt a little bit of a lockup in the right front as well. And Joshua Chin's going to take a run here and might sit behind him for a moment, but a little understeer behind the rear wing of the 32 as well. Brian Carey in the 79 sits in 6th place. Andrew Kinsella in 7th. And Philip Kraus in the number 19 back in 8th place. And Kraus started the night in 5th. He has dropped down 3 spots. But again, his points lead is fairly significant still.
He's worried about Henry Bennett, and Bennett right now is not running better than him. Bennett's back in 11th place. So as long as he's beating that 007, I think he's definitely doing what he needs to.
That seems to be the case so far tonight. And his lap times have been pretty consistent. His best 107.3, a previous lap of 107.9, which is a little slower than the drivers in front of him, but a little faster than the ones behind him. So Kraus looks like he's found his sweet spot.
And Dean also, so with Henry Bennett in second, the next driver in the points is Jason Brophy. He's all the way back in 22nd in the 88 car.
There's Liam Quinn in the 24. Another driver that took advantage of all the mess at the start of the race and put himself up to 11th spot. Up in front, Zach Campbell. Car off in the background.
It's a lap car, I believe. I have been Brophy. Yeah, I think it was Brophy.
Was it Brophy?
Yeah.
Yellow wing on this car. It sure was. Here's a look. We'll ride on board.
Just talking about him, third in the points.
Just a big understeer moment and got into the gravel and found the grass.
Yeah, that was kind of weird the way that played out.
I wonder if there's maybe floor damage to that car. I mean, that would typically show in a corner like that. I mean, it looked like he just lost all front grip.
Yeah, I don't know if he almost locked up the brakes or something. That was weird how the car kind of went very straight on, even though he's putting input. So I don't know. That was unfortunate. Didn't damage the car, though.
Levick up into 5th place. This is a great run for him, and he's closing in on Andreas Eich. Last time by was 0.2 quicker.
Park VR on the side of that car. Well, on Levick, not on Eich.
Whoa, a little bit of gravel on the left side tires of the 76, and the 77 is closing in for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be the tricky part, is not making this pass happen. He's going to lose some time here. It's a very high downforce section he's about to approach in Sector 1. Right on board with Levick.
A little bit of a bobble there in the carousel. And back on power. A little bit of slipstream, maybe a push to pass here. Have a look into the hairpin. Here he comes. It looks like he'll actually make that pass easily. Ike either misses the corner or lets him on by.
I'm surprised that he let him on by. It looked like you did. You know, you didn't even go defensive heading down towards it. You know, obviously, you want to try to protect that inside line, but Ike kind of gave him the spot. I guess acknowledging the 77's a bit faster at the moment. Gonna let him on through. These guys about 13 seconds behind our leader, Zach Campbell, who's now pulled out to a 5.6 second lead over Christian Steele in second.
Yeah, and Campbell, again, has had a lot of really solid runs at road courses like this in the past. Think back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course last year. Didn't he just eke out Joshua Chin at that race?
He beat Joshua Chin just out of the final corner. The last lap, last corner pass at Mid-Ohio of all places.
Kind of a home race for him here tonight. Georgia, not too far away from Alabama, so in this race at what I could consider a home track for him. Christian Steele, new name here in the Indy Elite Series, running in second place.
Yeah, what a great race to show your prominence. Second in his first start for the series.
Trying to see if I have him on the entry list somewhere to know what team he's running for.
Might just be independent.
Could be. Don't have any information on Christian Steele. An update on the Spark VR Team Championship standings coming into the night. Well, we're kind of got a little bit of a lull on the action. Power Slide currently leading with 336.5 points with 3 wins over Last Lap Motorsports with 316 points. And it's Indy Elite Misfits back with 238. Rookie standings, Philip Kraus, no doubt leading those with 339 points over Jason Brophy with 238. And I have to say, obviously we've seen Philip Kraus be super impressive this season in general, but I have to also mention Jason Brophy because he came out of nowhere this season.
Yeah, won two of the first 3 races.
Two of the first 3, 2 of the first 4, something like that. Really impressive. Having a great day today after getting caught up in that early incident. Sits 22nd place right now, but still overall, I think he's already met his expectations for the season.
Sorry, correction. Rounds 1 and 5.
Okay, so 2 of the first 5 races.
Yeah, it was still really impressive.
Close enough.
Start. Yeah, it was still really impressive considering it was his first season here. You didn't really have the consistency of really Kraus, and that's why I think Kraus is out of in the standings. We look at John Downing as he's trying to defend 10th place from Liam Quinn and behind the 24.
777's back there in 12th as well. That's a great shot. New cameras this week, thanks to Fenian for setting those up.
Those are not.
What's that?
These are not new.
This is not new? Okay. Well,
I have the gyro.
it looks cool.
Yeah. I gotta move that.
Well, he's got race spot on the helmet, so I'm not sure I can. I'm just kidding. Lap 18 of 43, closing in on halfway. And running on board with Quinn as he closes in on 10th place, John Downing in the 20. A whole lot of curve through 13. That's a dangerous place to take curve, I would say. Henry Bennett at the 9th place, as we mentioned. And we kind of expected this race to stretch out and kind of grow some gaps in between. This is very much a driver's racetrack. It's difficult to pass, but it's really easy to lap from the standpoint of, it's very flowing and you can get into a rhythm. This is definitely a rhythm racetrack. If you're out of your rhythm, it's a hellish place to drive. But so far tonight, we've seen a bunch of incidents towards the beginning, but once you get spread out, you're kind of on your own, and it's nice. It's a fun place to drive for sure.
So looking at Quinn and Downing going at it, the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment between these two drivers.
For 10th spot. Last time by, Downing ran a 108.039, and it was a 108.049 for Liam Quinn. Maybe start thinking about pit stop situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, for the most part, I imagine these guys are going to make this an easy one-stop race, especially helped too by the caution.
We have an answer for one of the drivers. As soon as I mentioned that Frank Levick is going to hit pit lane in the 77. He'll be the first one of our leaders to come on down. There's a lot of bent-up, torn-up race cars in the pit area. They'll come on down and take tires and fuel and get back out on course. Zach Campbell has extended his lead to almost 7.5 seconds, Finian. Can anybody take this away, or is this the 144's race to lose?
Yeah, honestly, unless he makes a mistake, I really don't see anyone taking this away from him. He's got a 7.5 second lead over Christian Steele. It's been a phenomenal run so far for the 144.
and just looks so comfortable out there. He's not pushing the limits. He's not dropping wheels. This is just, he's in tune with the racetrack right now. Just so smooth.
Still set the fastest time of the race. The only driver to be in the 106 as everyone else has been running slower. Or sorry, actually, it's correct. I was looking at the wrong column. Few drivers in the 106s, but still the fastest with 106.2.
He just ran 6/10 quicker than second place Christian Steele. So he's setting the pace for sure. John Downing and Liam Quinn still the best battle on the racetrack. No, correction. Gabriel Perez and now Joshua Chin. This is for 12th.
He's clawing his way up the order. Still damage to that car that we had the chance to fix. But he cannot wait to come down to pit road.
He's already running fairly competitive lap times, quicker than about half the drivers in front of him, but certainly the wing getting a repair would be an advantageous repair for number 93 of Joshua Chin, who would have started 8th tonight. Remember, he started from the pits and avoided what ended up being the most chaotic road racing start we've seen in an IndyCar race in several months. And John Downing and Quinn is leaning on them 20 here. He's going to come up the inside at 12, and Downing's going to give him the, oh no, this is down in the hairpin. This is turn 5 here.
Gonna get the spot from Downing. Downing back into 10th, Quinn up to 9th.
See if Downing can respond. Has a look, backs out. Gotta watch this right front tire. It's so easy to lock up because these cars are so long. And freewheel it for a second. So it's really easy to lock those tires. Christian Steele hits pit lane in the number 50 car in second place. He's in for his stop. Riley Thompson stays on course. And running for Simsa Esports now instead of the TDR team. Been very consistent so far today.
Seriously, these guys can extend their fuel mileage a little bit more. I've seen a few guys come in early.
Well, Zach Campbell, I think, is the key to watch here. He'll probably just stay out as long as possible. I don't really think there's any reason for him to jump to pit lane with a lead this large. And here he comes. So now what does Riley Thompson do? Does he follow? Look how far back he is. That's 16 seconds on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a lot of time back to Thompson in the 58.
He is going to also come in. Even this pit entry is treacherous.
Yeah.
Into the box he comes. Checking back in on the 777, and here's Joshua Chin in 11th place now, the number 93, and his lap times, again, as we mentioned, have been about a second quicker than this 777. He's flying right now, just needs a bit of a wing repair to get himself back in position for a top 5 here.
A lot of guys midfield have not yet made their stops. A lot of leaders have made their stops.
Andreas Eich has not yet hit pit lane, going to lead a lap, potentially. And after he won last week at Kentucky Motor Speedway in what was a very contested last 10 laps or so with Adam Blocker getting caught up in that, Eich ended up going on to win the race, his second win at the racetrack. And not in a position to win this race tonight, but perhaps could play some strategy here. Maybe try to short fuel the car a bit and get a little bit of an advantage on the people he was racing before. Joshua Chin lining up 9th place here. That's the 777 of Austin Espedy. Speedy? Again, I need someone to tell me.
I'm pretty sure it's a Speedy, but in the 777, regardless, in 9th place is Chin still trying to take him down. I've been really impressed by the 93's run so far today. I guess, I mean, and Grant shouldn't be too surprised because he did qualify up in 8th, so definitely had some decent speed.
Yeah, not being surprised doesn't mean it's not impressive. I think that's clear. Andrew Kinsella hits pit lane, so does Andreas Eich from the lead. It looks like Joshua Chin's also going to hit pit lane with Speedy in front of him. And behind him, Gabriel Perez hits pit lane. Riley Thompson has already made his stop. Question becomes, where is Zach Campbell? He's back out on track, already up to 4th place again. Closing in on some lap traffic he's got to deal with as well. Past halfway, next time by will be 20 laps to go from the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. Again, Henry Bennett in the 007, he is 3rd, right ahead of Zach Campbell, but Bennett has yet to hit pit lane.
He's been out here for quite a while and actually came down under that caution. So it's been a while since he's been here fairly. No, I didn't say that. He was one of the few drivers that came down when that wreck happened. I'm not sure if he actually got damaged from that or if he just came in the top.
No, he was definitely involved in it. He got tagged. He was actually the driver that originally hit Adam Blocker. So he's going to come on down and bring Brian Carey with him. Philip Kraus still remains on the racetrack in his number 19 Spark VR car, again the sponsor for today's Grand Prix of Alabama, and the cyan blue colors on this car. Running about a second off of where Zach Campbell is right now, and Campbell is 1.6 seconds behind. Kraus still has yet to come to pit lane, so going to put the 19 well back of the lead when he finally comes into pit.
Yeah, as far as on pit road, it looks like Christian Steele actually made up some time on the 144.
Yeah, about a second and a half, 2 seconds or so. And Honda logos on the nose of this race car as he heads down into the corkscrew. That was actually, he went in there really hot and actually got the thing loaded up, so he's making time right now. But Campbell just last time by ran about a half a second off his best time, a 106.7. His best tonight is a 106.232.
Phil Kraus, you see there on screen pulling into the pit, so he's going to surrender the lead back to the 144 of Campbell. He will serve as his car. He hasn't come in at all, so this is the first time he's come in all race long, so he's been gone about 20, 22, 23 laps effectively on fuel.
So Christian Steele now 6.2 seconds back as we enter the last half of this race. And Riley Thompson sits in third still. Frank Levick about 2.5 seconds back. Andreas Ike right behind Levick. So now we have a battle for fourth place brewing here. And Ike was about 4/10 off Levick last time by. But this is a really impressive run for the 77. Think back to Michigan a couple weeks ago, the halfway point of the season. Had a solid top 5 run there. Almost won his first race of the season. And then we get here today, and he's running a solid top 5. If he finishes here, I think he'd be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Although I think he's going to have to fight with Ike 4. They're going to continue their battle from earlier.
Bouncing over the curbs down into the corkscrew. A little bit deeper in the field. How about a battle for 7th spot? Kraus comes out of pit lane right in front of Brian Carey, who's got warmer tires than the 19 does, and while the 19 warms him up, I think Carey's going to try to strike.
The hard section to kind of follow the driver right in front of you through.
And how close, how close can you get before you start to feel that effect? Is he feeling it now?
Oh,
the 19 locked up.
Sideways, wow.
Oh man, that was dicey.
Yeah, clip the curbs there, and we were talking about that the tire is not quite being up to temp for the 19.
Oh,
it's
side by
side with Carey, and gonna make his way on through and hold on.
It's a wild ride for a moment. Let's go back and take a look at that. As he got a bunch of curb, and that's what turned him sideways.
And had to lock it down to keep it straight.
Ooh boy, that's a lot of lockup. He damaged that tire, heated those up as well. So you have to watch for kind of the aftershock of that and see Kinsella is actually running him down. So he's found another gear here to close in on the 6th place, number 14.
I don't think he's going to be able to. He's not going to be able to send into the corner. Had a look there the last second, but not able to get on by Henry Bennett. Though will get on by Brian Carey.
And he's coming 107.7 last time by. Was quicker than everybody in front of him, up to Andreas Ike in 5th place.
Kinsella actually had a fairly slow lap. It was a 114 for him last time through.
Yeah, might have had an off somewhere. We get closer and closer to the end of this race. Again, only about 18 minutes of racing remaining. If we go green to the end, we had one caution at the start of the race as Adam Blocker from the 2nd starting position wiped out, took out a teammate, and a whole lot of cars. Kinsella sideways in turn 14.
Henry Bennett avoids his teammate.
Another big slide. And he was all sorts of sideways here, and I'm not sure if he caught some grass potentially.
Yeah, he caught some grass, I think.
Here's a look. It got maybe the curb on the inside of 13, going to get out over the edge of the curb. And there's not a lot of curbing out there, and he was fully in the grass, which is how he found himself out of control.
It almost brought it on and saved it, but didn't have all the tires on when he rejoined and lost some grip, and Henry Bennett did a great job avoiding him.
Yeah, here's it. Look, Henry Bennett is on board full speed here. Great response time to avoid that collision, but they'll return to 7th and 8th place. Bennett closing in on the 14. Best bet on the racetrack right now, Joshua Chin, and Osman Espini goes a little wide in the hairpin and drops back to 12th.
Being able to take full effect of the downforce he has now, the wings prepared, so can continue his charge further up the grid.
7th place, Kinsella, Bennett, Carey. You typically, that turn 13, the track out in 13, that's a mistake you'll make once and you won't do it again, because that is a true brown pants moment. You go through that corner, you drop a wheel, you're already light, and you see actually Kinsella's going to pull over, let his teammate on by. It's already, your car's already basically lifting up off the ground as you crest that hill, and to drop a wheel and you're still spinning tires, it's just a bad time. It's not a whole lot of fun. So Kinsella drops in behind his teammate Henry Bennett, then Brian Carey will have to pass him the old-fashioned way. Down into the hairpin.
Not going to get the run back on Kinsella. Don't think he's going to try to pull out and make a pass 4-7. So both you can hear him let off the gas, give us some distance. Been very conservative. And at 79, his line through the corner. Didn't even touch the curbs.
So we're going to jump back up to 3rd place because now Levick is about to actually pass Riley Thompson for a podium position here.
Yeah, Thompson's been pretty slow, and I don't necessarily know why. He's lost consistently a lot, more and more time to Christian Steele. When he came out of the pits, it was about 9 to 10 seconds the gap between himself and Steele. Now it's 13 seconds. You see Levick pull out to try to make a pass on Thompson.
Yeah, again, Thompson seems to be struggling a little bit. And Levick's got a whole lot of pace tonight. The lead Spark VR team member. And into the hairpin, he's going to have a look up the inside. We'll take that spot away. Thompson will try to respond, but I don't think he's going to have anything for him.
Yeah, that car just seems to be kind of off pace. He's struggling with something.
You're watching the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama here on Sim TV. If you're new to the network, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you'd like to see more. Again, we've got road racing coming up for a couple weeks in a row here in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. And the next round is actually going to be a couple weeks from now. It'll be at Long Beach. It'll be round number 10 of 12. Then we'll head to Circuit of the Americas for round 11 before heading back to Indianapolis for the 12th and final round of the 2020 spring season. And we're going to have 13 laps to go next time by. Zach Campbell has just started another lap as he works his way down the back straightaway towards turn 7. He has been on another level tonight. He's led pretty much every lap that we've been green, other than a quick exchange during pit stops here, but continues to check off laps. How about that? Last time by ran his quickest lap of the night.
Yeah, now he's the only driver to be in the 105s. Barely so, but still is going to be a 105.985. So really quick lap for the 144 of Zach Campbell, and going to continue his march forward.
Joshua Chin has cracked the top 10 and just got by Liam Quinn, and now has a couple seconds. Okay, I say a couple. I mean about 11 seconds to catch Brian Carey. But Chin again started from the pits tonight after having an EOL from last week, or last round rather, and ended up saving him with that crash on the opening lap. Austin Espedy in the 777 comes to pit lane. 2-stop race for him, it looks like.
Yeah, I think definitely is going to be the guys that can pull off a one-stop are going to be the ones that win this race. So definitely know that Philip Kraus can make it to the end on gas because he went a very long amount of time on his tank.
How about 8th place, Andrew Kinsella, Brian Carey. Carey actually reeled him in 4/10 last time as they head up towards 13 and 14. In this complex, 14 and 15, such a difficult area to get right. It's so hard to turn in when you're already braking, and it's just a mess through here. And then turn 15 to put you back out on the front straight.
It's a very difficult sector to make through, especially when you're trying to follow someone on through. You're going to face quite a bit of aero wash through that section here, especially in turns 1 and 2, and through sector 1.
Trying to late apex the carousel. And it's a roller coaster here at Barber Motorsports Park up to the crest in turn 3. Then into turn 5 for the hairpin right in front of them. That's Henry Bennett, and that is a lap down car, I believe. That is one of the Sadie Sim Motorsport cars.
I think that's David Adams.
Yep.
He's going to let all the lead lap cars on by. He's not having a good day. Neither is his teammate Bradley Walters. They're both running 22nd and 23rd.
Kinsella and Carey continue to fight for 8th position up front. Campbell continues to lead. Riley Thompson and Andreas Eick still for 4th place. Now, Thompson, again, is really struggling right now, and we're not exactly sure what's gone wrong. Maybe some tire wear is a concern for him.
I'm either that, or I'm thinking almost along the lines of he made an adjustment to that car potentially on the pit stops, because there are a few adjustments you can make only when you come into the pits, and I don't think it was the right adjustment because he's been pretty off the pace, and that car seems slower than usual.
I wonder where he's losing the time. Let's look at his sector times here compared to another driver, so we can kind of get an idea of where on the course that he's losing time. 16.5 for Sector. Ike is 16.6. So it doesn't seem to be Sector 1 where his trouble is, Finian. So let's see if it's maybe down to the slow stuff here in Sector number 2. It's following the 77, or actually that's the 42 of Chad Simpson, who's a lap down in 20th. And throttling back up for the back straight in his Simsa Esports.
Yeah, Simsa
car. Sector 2 for the 58 car as he comes across to border station, a 30.5 for Andreas Ike at 30.3. That's only 2/10 there.
Let's check out Frank Levick up ahead. I'm just curious what his
3.4. So I'm not really sure. Maybe this is an extra good lap for him, but maybe it's this last sector where he's losing all the time.
could be, but this in general, yeah, he was continuing at a pretty solid pace here. He was almost looking like he would pass Christian Stiller in the race.
Yeah, so a 108.3. A 108.1, so over the course of the lap, it was only about 0.3 that he lost, but it adds up just a little bit at a time. You see Andreas Ike has closed right into the rear wing of that 58 car.
And actually up ahead, I'm not sure the lap car really had a whole lot to do with it, but Levick ran almost a second faster than Thompson on that step through we were looking at. But they're looking at Kinsella now trying to defend from Brian Carrion behind.
Yeah, the next time by will be 10 laps to go, so we're about to wrap this race up. We're about 10 minutes away from the finish of this event. And Brian Carey trying to grab one spot better. Joshua Chin has made up 2 seconds on this group in the last 3 laps, so he's charging from behind, but these two I think will solve their dispute shortly. John Downing in the 20. I think he is the lead Sadie Sim Autosport car tonight.
Yeah, they've struggled a bit. They all kind of started towards the back, so from what I've noticed, they all started, I think, back further than 15th, but it's been an okay day for them. Downing, I think, will be pleased with a solid 12th place finish, but probably would hope for more, especially for the team as a whole.
Gabriel Perez, 32nd to 13th place tonight in his number 8 car, so this is a good run for him. The only other start I think he made, I remember seeing this name, I can't remember what racetrack it was at. I want to say, it was Michigan that we saw Gabriel Perez.
Yeah, it was Michigan.
Yeah, he's a part-time driver, so we haven't seen him a whole lot this season. Jump back up to the 4th place battle with Thompson and Andreas Ike.
Yeah, Ike's still struggling to get past Thompson. I would have thought he would have been able to, because Thompson, that car again, we were seeing that car looking pretty slow. I'm not sure if there was an adjustment or what the 58 is dealing with, but it looks like Ike and Levick were significantly faster than him, but Ike's struggling and really just demands this dirty air in behind and find a way on through.
So hard to have that dirty air. You see all the understeer right behind the 58.
That's what he's struggling to deal with, trying to get close to the 58. It's going to get worse the closer he gets to him.
And Barber is so line sensitive that if you offset your car to avoid that aero wash off the lead car, you're going to slow yourself way down or get into the marbles, as we've seen. Look how dark the racetrack is, Vinny. All that rubber that's accumulated in the racing line, go much outside of that. You can already see on the inside of the curb in turn 1, there's actually marbles accumulating there as well.
Amazed by anyone trying to get the curb in turn 1. That sounds like a death sentence, but
maybe if you're driving an MX-5, it's a good idea.
Yeah, not in these things.
Andreas Ike again. Now slipstream, and if he's got push to pass left, is it the time to use it now, or do you wait a little longer?
Honestly,
Again, these drivers have a select number of uses of a little extra power boost that they can use during the duration of the race. Only a couple times, though, to use as a passing mechanism if they would so choose. You
get 10 uses at your disposal, and you can only use it while you're on the gas full throttle. Once you get let off, it push patch disengages, and that's considered a use. So you have to use it sparingly here, and only really down a straightaway for the most part. So,
which there's not a lot of it. And one of the straightaways that we talk about is always the S's here. And this is not really a straightaway because
I wouldn't use it here.
Yeah, the problem is that through here, you have to have all that downforce. So you might usually do a little bit of a security lift just to make sure that you're not going to fly over the edge of the curbs. So this is kind of a dangerous spot to use it.
Yeah, and if you're you also have to consider too the fact that you're getting more. The push pass is giving you extra horsepower, so you're going to put more spin in the rear wheels. So you have a chance of looping it around too, putting so much. Having so much torque in the rear end, so you got to be careful with the way you use it.
Battle for 13th, Gabriel Perez in the number 8 and Ray Kingsbury in the 25. Spartan Vieira's had a kind of an all-over day today. If you take a look around, Frank Levick is in 3rd spot, and then you got to look a little down to find Philip Kraus in 6th. Look a little farther down, you find Ray Kingsbury in the 25. And then you got to look all the way back to find Matt Kingsbury out of the race in 24th, and then Flynn Lazier in 27th. So it's been a very up and down day for that Spark VR team, but here comes Ray to the inside. He'll take away 13th from Gabriel Perez. Chad Simpson, Jason Brophy just traded spots.
Gabriel Brophy dropping back to 21st.
He's going to have a look back on the inside of the 42 down into turn 1.
Yeah, I think that was definitely pushed past there. Got a very much alongside Simpson and gonna work on by turn 1. You can see him behind to the green car. That should be the 007 of Henry Bennett in behind.
Henry Bennett is currently scored in 7th spot, so he's actually putting these cars a lap down, and Simpson's going to give him a lane to use. And he'll get on through both of them. They both actually gave him a lane, which was actually quite nice of them to do. They don't require to do that. Kinsella, Brian Carey, 2/10 between them. I think this pass is long overdue.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still battling it out. Not too terribly on there. You see the cars we were just looking at of Simpson and Brophy just up ahead. So these guys are about to catch him here, and this could actually help Brian Carey out as Kinsella's going to face some dirty air for a bit. Actually, not too far behind them. Sorry to cut you off. There's a Joshua Chin in the name.
Yeah, he's cut this gap in half, and he's actually going to get there at the rate he's closing. So Chin is going to be, Frank Levick's going to hit pit lane with 5 laps to go, or actually 6 laps to go for him.
And this is what I was talking about. I noticed a few guys coming in a bit earlier than I would have thought. I think Frank Levick was probably one of the first guys we saw to really come down out of our leaders onto pit road, and he really needed to save a decent amount of gas after that caution came out. And I think that changed a lot of guys' strategy, and I definitely know the 19 didn't get to the end. Not sure about some other guys. Look at John Downing off in the grass side by side of Ray Kingsbury, and Kingsbury's going to get the spot.
That was an aggressive move. You saw Downing smell the blood in the water as the 20 went a little wide in turn number 13. So Kingsbury up to 12th place. And Frank Levick is actually out back on the racetrack in 10th, so we'll still record a top 10 result, but that does put Philip Kraus as the lead Spark VR machine in the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. And again, his points lead is going to continue to expand with Henry Bennett 5 seconds back.
Yep, and I mean, even besides that too, he's got a 60-point gap to Henry Bennett. That's over a race's worth of points, so he's doing a solid job and just going to continue to expand. And
here we go. Push to pass for the 76 to the inside on the front straight. 5 laps to go, and he easily clears Riley Thompson. And that was an excellent use, and you can definitely tell the difference there between just normal driving and the surge of power from the push to pass, and the 76 goes through to 3rd.
Actually, here goes. There's Philip Kraus right in behind these guys, that blue and the light blue and white car. He's trying to chase them down. He's got a chance for a podium here.
An excellent use of the new halo to put the Spark VR logo on.
Yeah, I think he was also using push pass here. He's on the top of the rev limiter in 6th.
Trying a 106.5, which is his fastest lap, so he's obviously got some uses left over. And I think a lot of drivers do this is they wait until the very last couple laps and they use all their uses together to close up on whoever is left in front of them.
Yeah, it's only useful if you save it up toward the end. It can really help you catch up to people, especially in a time like now when you got a podium staring right at you, looking back at Andrew Kinsella and Brian Carey in the 79.
And Joshua Chin is now only 2.7 seconds back, and again, at the rate he's closing, he will get there. Whether or not he'll be able to make the pass is another question.
That's definitely going to be a question here. I am curious. Ooh, Christian Steele down into pit road. He's going to make a stop, take a splash of gas, and he'll be on his way.
Yeah, he actually, I don't even think he'll lose a spot here.
Yeah, and granted, he's not actually going to lose. He just lost to Thompson and Kraus.
Oh man, that was actually critical. I thought he was going to come out in front of them, but he didn't. There's Joe Branch in the 28. He's 19th tonight. We haven't really talked about him and the Coca-Cola of Coke. What? Coca-Cola of Coke. The Coca-Cola of Kokomo car. Excuse me for that one, but he started his night in 31st up to 19th.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: if you're Christian Steele, you can, I'm sure Zach Campbell might have thought this too. Just push the car as much as you can, and then potentially open up the pit window. Unfortunately for him, he's pulled out in behind 3 cars right ahead of him, and I don't think he's gonna have enough time to get past all 3.
Brian Carey's all over Andrew Kinsella. You have to imagine he's been saving some push to pass, but you got to start using it soon.
Yeah, now's kind of the time to stop saving here. These guys are going to be coming to 3 to go next time by the leaders already on 3 to go.
John Downing just hit pit lane in the number 20 car. And you're right, Zach Campbell has a 38-second lead over Andreas Eichen.
Oh, he's saving too. He ran a 117
Oh,
last time by. And here's another driver I was a bit concerned about, and that's kind of confirming my suspicion.
Oh, did he hit pit lane?
Oh, he did.
He just came to pit lane and comes out still with a 15-second lead.
That explains a lot.
So he just came down for a splash of gas.
Yeah, and this is another thing too. He was so fast that he was able to come down, just get some fuel, and be back out on the track. Still got a 15-second lead over Andreas. That's impressive.
That's incredible. You get the extra fuel, the extra space to come down for more fuel and still have a huge lead is pretty impressive. Andreas Eichen up to second place. How about the run that he's having late in the season? A win last time at Kentucky and a second tonight if he stays here.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just kind of curious what these guys are doing on fuel.
17 laps for Brian Carey, 18 for Joshua Chin.
And for the guys up inside second place,
19 laps for Ike, Thompson, and Kraus.
Kraus is
Kraus
16. Yeah, that's why I definitely know that Kraus is good enough on fuel, especially in comparison to Ike and Thompson. Both of those guys are stretching it just a little bit.
2 laps to go. And I think the saving grace for some of these guys, Zach Campbell's pace is actually going to shorten this race up from probably what it would have been. They would have had to go and hold up their lap had it been anybody else leading this event.
Yeah, here's the thing, another thing too, is that if these guys didn't save enough, they can't use the push to pass because that's just going to burn more fuel.
Right. It's very different from the formula style of DRS where you have a drag reduction.
Yeah.
This is a power increase. So it doesn't, DRS in the real world probably actually saves you fuel because you have less drag, and on those Formula 1 or Formula 2 cars or even something like the Formula Renault. When it comes to push to pass, this is a power increase, a horsepower increase. It's going to bump your fuel usage and consumption. So you have extra engine maps you can play with. But not sure how much these guys are messing with that tonight as Zach Campbell comes out of the final corner. White flag's going to wave one more time from Barber Motorsports Park for the 144.
Yeah, we definitely know that he's going to be good on fuel, and if anything, he's got 17 seconds to save if he didn't add enough, but I imagine he did on that pit stop sequence. Meanwhile, white flag for second, third, and fourth place. Ooh, Kraus is trying to make a move, potentially set up a run down the straightaway here.
And that's Riley Thompson trying to hold on to a podium as they come across for their white flag. And Kraus going to cleverly, you heard Thompson back off a little early. Maybe he's saving a bit of fuel. To the outside, Kraus is going to try to line him up for the run down to turn 5 in the hairpin.
Oh, he's got a great run here.
Here it comes. Almost certainly push to pass here, and he's not quite clear, though. He's going to have to go around the outside into the hairpin. Thompson goes defensive. It'll be a crossover. He can stay alongside, though. He'll have drivers right. Oh, more push to pass. You see the launch he got.
Yeah.
As they head down towards the
out of the corner. Going to try to beat Thompson and make him back out. Indeed, he can.
Yeah.
So Kraus can move another spot. I don't think he's got enough time to get back to Ike unless Ike runs out of gas.
So Kraus through to third. Meanwhile, Joshua Chin having a look at Brian Carey. Checkered flag waves, though, for Zach Campbell from pole to win in a wild race at Barber Motorsports Park. From the very drop of the green flag, Campbell wins in his first outing this season. Andreas Eichen a long way back. Will come home in second after his win last week. He is on a mission and a roll. And Philip Kraus right behind, trying to defend from Riley Thompson, but he'll come through in third, and Thompson back in fourth place. Christian Steele had to come in late for fuel to finish off the event, but he'll come back in fifth spot.
Henry Bennett is going to finish out in sixth. Andrew Kinsella is going to be working through the line. There you see him, and just ahead of Brian Carey, and also Joshua Chin wasn't able to catch. He was able to catch, so wasn't able to make the pass, so he'll finish in ninth. Frank Levick's going to round out your top 10.
And I think there's only a couple more drivers left on the lead lap. Will be, I think we got Liam Quinn, Ray Kingsbury, a couple more drivers. Here comes Quinn.
Yep.
Out of the final corner, 11th place.
And that should also be Ray Kingsbury coming out of the final corner in the 25 car. He will finish in 12th. Gabriel Perez now coming into frame in the 8 car, will finish in 13th. Adam Crane will be your last driver on the lead lap, will finish out in 14th.
So, checkered flag is complete. Your unofficial results here in just a moment. Here is what the finishing order looks like. Zach Campbell, winner chicken dinner at Barber Motorsports Park for the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. And Andreas Eichen, again, a really solid run in second place for him. Kraus in third, as we mentioned. Thompson, a top 5 result with his brand new team. Although a pretty entertaining race, but the initial start was really messy. And that led to a wild, first ever seen yellow flag here on the Indy Elite Series.
Yeah, and I think Messy's, honestly, to put it lightly, that was a chaotic start, to say the least.
Yeah.
A lot of drivers not even able to take the green flag.
And let me be honest, I'm really glad that they did throw a caution flag, because it is the worst thing ever to have to slow down for a crash and lose all that time for something that wasn't your fault. So glad that they threw a caution to get that reset and reordered. But Zach Campbell was able to capitalize, and he's going to celebrate down on the front straightaway.
Barely see him. He's smoked up the tires so much.
Sure is.
All right, yeah.
And going to celebrate here. We'll jump to break for a couple minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV and the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series, brought to you by Spark VR tonight. We're here with race winner Zach Campbell, the number 144, his 5th win in the Indy Elite Series and his 4th at a road course. Zach, you seem to have the road courses figured out, but Barber Motorsport Park tonight, you made it look easy out there, but you were mentioning to us during the break that it was easier than you thought it would be after the chaotic start that we saw.
Yeah, after the start, I mean, I don't know what happened with Blocker there, but it's unfortunate because I always do like racing Blocker and Henry, and they both got taken out, which is a shame because they're two of the best guys at road courses in this car. But I know the full course caution kind of threw in the only real kind of hook in there that, you know, could have downed us. But I know my race engineer, Christopher Demerit, who's normally in this car, was talking to me and giving me all these fuel numbers, and I just got bored, so I started pushing as hard as I could, and it worked out in the end, so I was pretty happy with that strategy. I know it was to the chagrin of him, but it was a fun race overall. I really enjoyed it.
This racetrack is always a tricky one to drive and lap without making mistakes. So talk to me about the challenges of this racetrack today, the weather conditions. We also saw a lot of rubber out there. How did that play into the grip level of the racetrack?
The track really gripped up from practice. I know track temp dropped about 20 degrees from what we were practicing in, and on older tires, I mean, this track is one of the highest deg tracks when you're above 100 degrees track temp, but when you get below it, it's almost like any other track on iRacing in this car, where it's just, going to get quicker as the fuel goes on, and yeah, it's going to get a little more oversteery, but it wasn't really unmanageable throughout the race. And the guys at i5G, especially Steele and Pavelski and all of them, they put together a really nice package. Thank you to AJ, by the way. And yeah, I mean, it was a really good package, and I really did enjoy driving it tonight.
Zach, congratulations on another solid race win here in the Indy Elite Series. Good to see you back, and make sure you celebrate this one and enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll try it. That was a fun little dominating race from me there. I was super happy with the result.
All right, Zach Campbell, winner here from the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. We'll see you later, Zach.
See ya.
Talk now with Philip Kraus, who finished third place tonight in the Spark VR number 19. Philip, a crazy start to this one, a full course caution to start the night, but you clawed your way through the field, I believe. Taking a look here, started in 5th spot, made your way up to a podium. So walk us through tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that chaos in the start for sure. I think Blocker might have just spun up the rears a little bit going through that final kink, which I didn't really try a race start, but it definitely seems possible. And got loose, and it was just a huge mess. I think it blocked like the whole front stretch, that whole crash. So when I saw that Henry and basically anyone I was racing was involved in it, I'd figured that I'd play this a lot safer since I wasn't really feeling that confident in my race pace. And I would pit and fill up and try to chase the fuel number, which I did. But I wasn't really expecting, I think it was Ike and Riley Thompson, yeah. I wasn't expecting them to be able to make it just off the safety car itself, which that sort of threw me for a loop. I thought when I pit and everyone else stayed out for like the top 10, I thought I'd pretty much locked up second on just fuel strategy. But props to them for making it last all the way.
Your point situation coming into the night was already pretty good looking. You had 62 points over Henry Bennett. You beat him by another couple spots tonight. We head to a couple more road courses before finishing out the season at Indianapolis. How confident are you that you're going to be the champion in the 2020 spring season?
It's not over till it's over, so I don't want to curse anything yet, but feeling pretty good after Barber. This definitely wasn't one of my best tracks. Didn't have a lot of confidence here at all, and to come away with P3, that's pretty amazing.
Philip Kraus, third place tonight, the number 19 Spark VR car. Philip, thanks for talking. We'll see you later.
Yep, thank you.
That's going to do it for the interviews here tonight. Finney couldn't get a hold of Andreas Ike after he's been having a great season, so it's unfortunate we haven't been able to chat with him lately. But your race results on the screen one last time before we cut out for tonight. Disappointments tonight, certainly, for Adam Blocker. His point situation improved massively after last week at Kentucky. He gained 3 spots up to 6th, still over 150 back from Philip Kraus, but tonight is going to be disastrous.
Yeah, I was going to say, and again, he's out of drop weeks because if I'm not mistaken, these guys should be only getting 2 drop weeks. With that, he pretty much can't afford to take any more drops, so he's gonna drop down through the order. So fortunately for him, I don't think he's gonna be able to defend his championship. Might be able to. I don't know what it's necessarily going to take, but the next few weeks are definitely going to be interesting, especially to see if Kraus can hold on. How about that? Winning a championship in your rookie season, that's really impressive.
It certainly is, and leading the Rookie of the Year standings as well. So that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you again for joining us for the Spark VR Grand Prix of Alabama. We want to thank our sponsors, the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo, Indiana, for their continued support. Make sure that you head over to their Facebook page. You can also watch the video on demand of this race on their Facebook page, and make sure you give us a shout out there and say that SimTV sent you. You can also watch the race here every single week right here on SimTV. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. We're going to be live later tonight, 9:40 p.m. from Bristol with some super late model action with a 3-wide racing league. So make sure you join us for that just a little bit later tonight. If you're interested in watching that race, you can find the links to all of our upcoming broadcasts in our Discord. Links are below. Thanks again to Coca-Cola of Kokomo, Spark VR, and the Indy Elite Series for another great one from Barber. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.